I started NoFap in March of 2020, March 31st, 2020 to be exact. I'm sure that you can relate. 2020 was quarantine, self-development. That was the wave at the time. Everybody was focused on bettering themselves through things like NoFap, cold showers, working out at home, etc. I started NoFap in March of 2020, and from that point on, I went 2 weeks on NoFap. I lasted until the middle of April, and then from there, I went around 9 months, give or take. After I reached 9 months on NoFap, I got into my first relationship. And let me just say this, in those 9 months, my life changed drastically. I got monetized on YouTube. Like I said, I got into my first relationship, and I even lost my virginity. Now, why did I quit NoFap if it brought me all of these benefits? Well, the reason why I quit NoFap was because I couldn't get it up. And I've made a video about this in the past on my other channel. I'll talk more about why I started this channel here in a second. But I could not get it up, and I assumed that NoFap was the reason why. And so I mistakenly quit NoFap. I never went back to the P in PMO. If you don't know what PMO is, that's what it means. I never went back to the P, but I did fully indulge in the M and the O, if only to get myself into a situation where I could get it up again. It worked. Granted, I do believe in retrospect that it was primarily nerves. It was first time jitters, second time jitters, third time jitters. But eventually I got it to work, and I was able to be sexually active, and I kept doing the M and the O because I believed that that was the reason why I was able to be sexually active. I was wrong. I was very, very wrong. And once I realized that I was wrong, after maybe 2 or 3 months, I fully committed to being on NoFap again. This was around March or April of 2021. 60 days in to this NoFap streak, my life changed again, drastically, even more so than before. Before I had gotten monetized, but this time I went from being monetized on YouTube and making maybe $1,400 a month, which was a pretty nice income for a 21-year-old at the time, to suddenly making $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a month at 21 years old, overnight from 1 month to the next. And my relationship continued to blossom. That relationship didn't last, but the point that I'm making is that NoFap streak really, really changed my life. And at that point, I realized that NoFap was something that I needed to keep as a permanent practice in my life. That is until 13 months later. Now, let me explain to you what happened in those 13 months. Like I said, I was making $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a month at 21, and it happened overnight. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't understand the concept of reinvesting the profits back into the channel. I didn't understand how to create offers so that I can maximize my momentum. I didn't really understand these things. All I knew was I want to make $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a month every single month moving forward. So I'm going to work very, very hard to do so, but not very, very smart. That's a different discussion for a different day. Eventually, my momentum dwindled. That's the case with YouTube. Ebbs and flows. It's natural. It's normal. This is something that if you're going to make YouTube videos, you should expect. I didn't expect it because I didn't have anyone to tell me that that was going to happen. I just assumed it would last forever. In that time that I was making that money, I built a lifestyle that required me to continue making that much money. So when I was no longer making that much money, when I was making $3,000 a month instead, or $3,500 a month, which was still a pretty decent amount to be 22 years old, I couldn't afford my own life. I couldn't afford to exist in the current state I was existing in at that point. That was the story of 2022. And that was the first time in my life that I truly felt a financial squeeze. I felt the pressure of having to dip into my savings every single month just to pay my bills. This was the time that I fell off the wagon. Now, why did I fall off of the wagon this time? Well, it's because my life sucked. Even though on the surface it seemed like it was going well, I had a brand new BMW, I was wearing $3,000 worth of jewelry every single day, and I lived in a luxurious apartment by myself with no roommates in a very affluent area of Dallas, Texas, or at least the Dallas metropolitan area. Even though my life looked like it was going well on the outside, I was actually going through the most inner turmoil that I had ever experienced in my whole entire life up to that point. And little did I know that that turmoil would continue all the way through 2023. Okay, my life basically sucked for almost 2 years straight. And around August, or as a matter of fact, around April or May, 13 months after I started that streak, I ended it because I could no longer withstand the force and the pressure of the life that I had built, the unsustainable life that I had built. It's interesting. I was listening to a podcast from Alex Hormozy yesterday, and he said that the situations that give him the most anxiety are the situations that he cannot change, the situations where he has to be passive rather than active, where there aren't really any actionable, pragmatic steps that he can take to improve the situation over the short term or over a specified period of time. And that's the sort of situation I found myself in. I found myself in a position where I couldn't even think well enough to acquire new skills. I tried reading books about marketing, watching videos. I couldn't retain any of the information because there was no space for it, because my mind was preoccupied with all of the money that I was losing, that I was watching leave my bank account every single day. If you've never been under true financial stress, I recommend that you don't go through it if you can avoid it. And I do plan to help you avoid it by all means necessary. I plan to give you all of the information that you need on this channel. Like I said, I'm going to get to the channel later on in the video and why I started a new channel. But the point is, my life sucked. And because my life sucked, I relapsed on NoFap. Then I went, I think, 3 more months, and then I fell off the wagon. And from there on in, it was over. All hell broke loose. From that point on, I think it was maybe July or August of 2022, I didn't go 30 days on NoFap for almost 2 years. As a matter of fact, I just passed 30 days, and best believe I will be making a video explaining the benefits that I've noticed from having gone 30 days on NoFap, because I do feel like this time it feels very, very different than the past few times, because before I didn't really understand the gravity of addiction. That being said, what really is addiction? Well, I've come to realize that addiction is synonymous with escapism. The reason why people are addicted to PMO or video games or junk food or anything else that brings them a short hit of dopamine is because they're trying to escape from a situation that they are not satisfied with. There's an aspect or multiple aspects of their current life that they want to escape from. And PMO is the most accessible for most people. If not PMO, then junk food, video games, Netflix, etc. The point is, you're using PMO as a means of a temporary escape for a problem that can only be escaped from by finding a solution, not a fix. You see, PMO is a fix. You need a solution. No PMO, NoFap, that's a solution. In other words, you have to let go of your means of escaping from the suffering that you're currently experiencing. You have to confront all of the negative emotions, the fear, the anxiety, the depression, and the hopelessness head on. And once you confront them and take accountability for the feelings that you have and maybe the external situations that are causing those feelings, then you have the power to not only leave PMO, but leave the situation that's causing you to turn to PMO in the first place. If I had known this when I was 22, perhaps I never would have fallen off the wagon, but I'm really glad that I did. I'm glad that I relapsed. Why? Because if I hadn't relapsed, if I hadn't fallen off of the wagon, I wouldn't know any of this. I wouldn't have the perspective to understand what truly causes addiction, why people turn to drugs, why people drink alcohol. I've said this many times in the past on my other channel, but I never understood why people drink alcohol. I can never for the life of me wrap my head around it because nothing about it seems appealing. Why would people continue to do something that they know is not good for them? Well, the answer is simple. Because they don't like their lives and they need an escape from it. Now, I believe that everyone has an escape mechanism. Everyone has something. Some people, maybe they like to read fiction books. Some people like to watch YouTube videos. Some people like PMO. Most people have more than one, really. But the point is, everyone has an escape mechanism. Don't try to escape from your need to escape. That's not going to work. I learned that the hard way. I made the promise to myself to go 30 days on NoFap dozens of times over these past couple of years. And I was only able to finally see that promise into fruition by understanding that I do need an escape, but I need a permanent escape rather than a temporary escape. When you make that one little mindset shift, you realize that PMO is a temporary fix to a situation that calls for a permanent solution. And for me, the permanent solution has been self-improvement. Lo and behold, self-improvement is actually the key to doing NoFap, no PMO. I like to call it no PMO because I feel like no PMO is a more comprehensive term, but not engaging in PMO. Or really not engaging in cheap forms of dopamine as a whole. Because if you think that replacing your PMO addiction with a junk food addiction is going to improve your life in any quantifiable way, you are sadly mistaken. Okay, I'm here to crush your dreams because I don't want you to go through the same thought cycles, to get caught in the same thought prison that I was caught in for the past couple of years, where I thought that if I simply replaced one form of escapism with another, that suddenly my life would get better. No, it won't, because you're still not addressing the primary issue, which is the fact that you don't like your life the way that it is right now. I'm not saying you need to like your life the way that it is right now. As a matter of fact, I believe that that feeling of dissatisfaction is the primary driver in human evolution. If you believe in evolution, then you can see the connection there. If you don't believe in evolution, then human development. Okay, let's change the words. Human development. Humans develop because they feel unsatisfied with their current lives. And in order to change their lives, they have to change themselves. That's something that people don't want to hear. A lot of people are only doing NoFap because they think that it's going to magically change every aspect of their lives. That's why people talk about women attraction so much. Oh, I started doing NoFap and suddenly women on the street were staring at me. Maybe they were staring at you because you are carrying yourself in a different way. You're more confident because you're now fulfilling an emotional promise that you've made to yourself, an emotionally based promise that you've made to yourself. And because of that, you're able to project that confidence out into the external world, and other people pick up on that subconsciously. Because what is confidence? Confidence is trust. And what is trust? Trust is the belief that a promise will be fulfilled. Plain and simple. And with something like PMO, where emotions are attached, or rather the avoidance of emotions, when you can stop avoiding your emotions, embrace them for what they are, and let them guide you to a better life, let the dissatisfaction guide you for a little bit, let it turn on the car, and then you can let your mind, your logical side, determine which direction you drive in. When you can do that, PMO will be in your rearview mirror before you know it. Okay, you won't get on the wagon because you won't need a wagon. You'll have your own car. You become the wagon in a sense. And that's what I want for you. But in order for you to get to that point, you need to understand what's at stake here. Okay, if you don't do PMO, then that's fine. That's perfectly fine. But just know that your current situation is not going to change unless you decide to change it. And I'm not saying that you can't improve your life while also doing PMO. It will slow your progress down, but ultimately, the only way you're going to maximize your potential is if you remove the things that are preventing you from doing so. A lot of people think that self-improvement is about adding things to their lives. They think that they need to add all of these habits, and that's partially true. But the real self-improvement comes from the things that you remove from your life, not the things that you add. A big part of the reason why I became successful in life, and success is objective, but the fact that I can talk to a camera and make money, or at the very least expect some sort of quantifiable outcome, means that I've accomplished something or figured something out that most people in the world have not figured out yet. The only reason why I've achieved any level of success in life is because I removed things that prevented me from doing so, not because I added things. Once I removed things, the natural next step was to add things per the law of substitution. You can't remove a negative habit or a negative thought or a negative belief without replacing it with a positive one. And for me, PMO was probably right next to social media, the biggest thing that I removed from my life to improve my life and to make room to create space for better habits, better thought patterns, and more quality, empowering beliefs. That being said, in the near future, I'm going to be posting a video about the benefits that I've experienced after 30 days of NoFap. 30 days of no PMO. No edging, no nothing. No peaking, none of that. Just pure discipline. I'm going to tell you all of the benefits I've experienced, and I'm not going to sugarcoat anything because that's not what this channel is for. Now, that being said, what is this channel for? Why did I make another channel? This channel is a self-improvement channel. Simply put, it is a self-improvement channel for men ages 18 to 24. Why do I say 18 to 24? If you're younger than 18, then you probably won't understand the gravity of some of the things that I'm talking about. For example, when I talk about business, you're not going to understand it because you're not going to understand the importance of making money because you live with your parents and you don't have to pay bills, at least most of you. If you are in a situation where you have to pay bills, then by all means, stay tuned because I have some stuff for you. But another reason why I decided to make another channel is because I just wanted something new to build. Right now, I'm in a phase of building, expanding, and growing. And I think that that's a natural byproduct of doing NoFap, of doing retention, doing no PMO, whatever you want to call it. Because ultimately, what is release? Release is the release of life force energy. What is life force energy? It's creative energy. You become creative. You are creating human life. So if you're not giving yourself the opportunity to do that, you're going to find other endeavors to put yourself into where you can create things. Whether it's painting, poetry, I just released my 3rd poetry book, or it can be business or anything else in between. For me, it's this YouTube channel and this offer that I'm currently building that is going to change your life. But I'll talk more about that in future videos. For now, this channel is a self-improvement channel with a focus on NoFap in particular. If that's not what you want to see, do not subscribe to this channel. If you're still watching this video, I'm going to assume that it is what you want to see. Therefore, you are welcome to stay. On this channel, I'm going to post primarily NoFap content as well as other self-improvement based content. I'll probably talk a lot about business, marketing, things like that as I learn them because I have been taking a lot of courses, reading a lot of books. No, contrary to popular belief, online courses aren't all scams. Okay, that is definitely not the case as I've learned in the past year or so. I'm going to be teaching you all of the things that I've been learning. I'm going to compress the timeline down for you. That's basically what I want to do. I want to compress the timeline down so that you can see the success that it took me years to attain, be it in NoFap, on YouTube, in business, with relationships. I am in a very, very happy relationship over a year at this point, and I do live with my girlfriend now, which is absolutely surreal. But whether it's relationships or anything else in between or beyond, I want to help you achieve the life that you want. But personally, what I've observed is that people who are under 18, they're not really in a position where they have the discipline or the wherewithal or even the necessity factor, the need to actually apply the things that they learn on YouTube in videos like this. So that's pretty much what this channel is. Obviously, if the content resonates with you and you're not 18 to 24, then you can continue watching. But again, this is for people who actually plan on applying the things that I'm going to be teaching. Because what I don't want is a bunch of people who are watching my content for mental masturbation, which in my opinion is just as bad, if not worse, than PMO. Because you think you're being productive, but you're actually not. Whereas when you do PMO, you at least know that you're not being productive. I'd rather not build up an audience of people who are going to use my content in that way, even if it means that the audience is going to be smaller. That being said, if you're a man between 18 and 24 and you're struggling with PMO addiction, or you're struggling to implement the self-improvement habits that you've learned on my channel, my other channel that is, or maybe Hamza's channel, Ice Cold JT's channel, or any of these other channels, Cole Hastings, etc., this is the place for you. Because over here, we take action. Just like I'm taking action by filming this video right now.